And this is Romans 12, 1-2. And he says, "And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable." So let your bodies be a living and holy sacrifice. Then verse 2 in NLT, he says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person." How? By changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. And so, even breaking it down further, when we talk about our thought or our mind and the way we think, that then ultimately changes who we are. We are tripart beings, right? Body, soul, and spirit. And when you think of the effect externally, like all those things that we were just talking about, it's all the external things, like my body in my career, my body being present in my job, how my body interacts in relationships. It's like that external thing. And then you come behind that layer to the soul, but then there's that third layer of the spirit. And so as I was going deeper into this, it's realizing, very fundamental, this is very, very fundamental, but your yielding starts from the spirit, and then that's what influences your soul, and then that's what influences the body. And so when you haven't really locked in that first part, we struggle on the third part. And so a lot of us have been trying to come at it from the third part. And I'm speaking personally just because of how I know this journey has been, and some of the areas where I was like, God, what, you want me to give this up? And that's how you think of it, is like giving something up. It's like we think we are losing something or letting something go for God to be pleased. It's like even that mindset itself is warped. It's like, oh, I have to give up school because I have to do this thing. That it's like I have to give up something for this thing that God wants, versus thinking God wants me to gain something else rather than this thing that I thought was good. We don't think of it that way. And so a lot of us, we go about, even myself, I'm sure a lot of us in this room will say, okay, yeah, this thing I wanted to do, but God did not allow me to do that. It's like it was a loss for me not to do that for this other thing that God wanted me to do in that particular season. And even though in retrospect, when we've walked through it, we see the benefit of it, but in the back of our minds, it's still like, oh, I lost something there because I didn't get to do that thing when I wanted to do it. And it wasn't a loss.